Hi, I'm Alex Archbold. I've been buying and selling antiques since I was a kid. Over the years, generations of our family have gotten involved in the business, and I'll search just about anywhere I can to find hidden treasures both big and small. I never know what I'll turn up next. It's about exploring new places, seeing new sights, and having fun. And even though sometimes I get over my head, we try and make things a little better along the way. This is Curiosity Inc. Hi everybody, and welcome to today's episode. This is kind of a sad day because I've decided to sell what was one of my dream cars. In fact, one of my favorite vehicles that I own. The reason that I'm selling this car is because I've acquired a few too many, and I've decided this year it's time to thin things down. But today, this episode is mainly for the folks watching at home who are going to be bidding on Bring a Trailer. So the car behind me is the car in question. It is a 1966 Jaguar XKE. I am the second owner of this car that I know of anyway. The fellow that I bought the car from, he was a German doctor. He was in his 80s when I bought the car about 5-6 years ago or so. And he bought the car off the lot in 1968. Now this car is a 66, he bought it new in 68. It'd probably been used or sitting on the lot. I mean, I don't know how many of these would have sold new in Kelowna, British Columbia, probably not a whole pile, but as such, it was actually registered as a 1968 up until the time I got it, and we had it changed back to its proper year. But I guess that's the thing with buying a car off the dealership floor, or the sales floor, is that they put the year on it of the year they sold it, but it is in fact a 66. So I'm going to flip this around and show you the car, and then we'll take it for a little drive. Now it is a little wintry and cold out, but the car should do just fine. It's a good driving vehicle, so let me show you the car. All right, best place to start is under the hood. We have a 4.2 liter. In fact, it's the numbers matching 4.2 liter inline six overhead cam engine that came with this vehicle. And triple carb setup, which is very desirable for those that are into the E-Type Jags. The Series 1s had the triple carbs, it had the glass headlight covers, all sorts of nice stuff. I was told by the previous owner that this engine has been rebuilt, and it does not burn any oil or have any major issues to my knowledge. I've just been hopping in, turn the key and drive. And it sounds great, purrs like a kitten, as it should. And the polishing here is still reasonably nice. It could probably be gone over again to freshen up a little bit, but you can see it's nice and shiny and generally fairly clean under the hood here. There's a few little things a person would probably want to address. He had painted the top of, like he intentionally, that's not overspray, somebody painted this blued, I guess, kind of color coordinated. I'm not a huge fan of that. They painted these things that should have been, that probably was black. That would have been black or silver. So there's a few things in here that he added his own personal touch to. I'm talking about the previous owner here. But for me, it's not been a priority at all. You'll notice that there is fiberglass on the inside, right back there. And I asked him about that, and I said, why is there fiberglass there? He said, well, he was worried about water getting in, because he heard that rust could be an issue penetrating through the back here. And so he, after he had some metal work done, and the floors were done in this car, and rockers at one point, he had a fellow fiberglass over certain areas that were prone to rust so they wouldn't rust again. But there's fiberglass there. So anyway, not, like I said, not the biggest thing in the whole world, but something worth mentioning. Let's see. This car lived its life in British Columbia almost the entire time in British Columbia, Canada. That's where it was sold new. That's where it was driven. And he apparently used it as his daily driver. And I talked to his son, and his son said that he had 3 kids. So the dad there, the wife here, and 3 kids in the back. And he said he was the youngest, and he had to sit there, and he didn't like it because it had that little hump kind of in the back you can see there. So he actually fit a family of 5 in this car. Not something you can do unless you have a 2+2, but I don't think I'd want to do that to my kids. They're all getting pretty big now. This is my son Steven's favorite car, and he will be quite sad to see it go. A couple of things to note on the exterior. The chrome, the Brightwork's actually pretty decent. I guess there's a little bit a little bit of pitting on the taillight lenses, or taillight covers. I had the front bumpers, the Spears re-chromed last year. They were not rusty or anything like that. It's just they were kind of faded, years of being polished. There are non-factory fog lights in here, which are operational. They're kind of tucked inside the grille there. They're easy enough to remove if you're not a fan of that. I don't think we've got much. There's obviously years of, little tiny pits on the windshield, but no cracks or major things to speak of. As we get down a little lower, see the rocker area here, nice and tidy. And this car it has no visible rust on it whatsoever. Again, he had told me that he had the rockers and floors done and then sealed to ensure that they wouldn't rust again. Sorry, my hand was shaking there as I was standing back up. The tires are new. I purchased them from Diamondback Classics. They're the Redline radials with tube inserts. So it's a nice soft ride, and you get a nice modern tire. And I quite like the look of the red lines on this car with the opalescent silver blue paint. Okay, let me get the hood latched, and then we'll take it for a bit of a ride here. So I ran inside to grab a jacket because, as you can see outdoors, it's winter here. And although I don't drive this car in winter time, in case you're wondering, this is the time of year I'm selling it. So I do have to do a video today, so we'll take it for just a little drive. To give you an idea, though, about whether I do like this car or not, look, if you look up top, I've got the massive E-Type model kit in that scale. I think it's 1/8 scale. It's huge. Same color. I've got model kits of the E-Type, old toys of the E-Type, and even my son, for Father's Day one year, did me a little drawing of the E-Type for me. And he says, "You're the coolest crazy person I know." I guess that's high compliments from your teenager. So this is a car that's been part of our family for a while, and we're hoping it's going to go to somebody who's going to equally enjoy it and love it as much as we have. But I'm going to grab my coat. Let's go for a ride. Okay, so I guess to prove that this is a cold start, I'm going to touch the exhaust. It's actually chilly. And we're going to get in the car. Make sure everything's all latched up. So, first things first, I'm going to open my garage door so I don't give myself exhaust fumes here. We're going to turn the key on. So key goes on, choke goes up, and we should just be able to push the starter button here. Give it a little gas. There it goes. Now she's a little bit cold, so you can barely even hear the motor running. That's how quiet this thing is. Let's get it outside and we'll take it out for a little spin. Okay, the car is running. Just gonna let it warm up a little bit here because we have a nice wintry day in front of us. Let's see, oil pressure's up, water temperature hasn't gotten there yet. Again, fuel gauge, as we mentioned. I know I have gas in it, so I'm not too worried about that. Let's see, what should I show you guys? Map light, there's wipers. Oh yeah, the washer is disconnected at the pump right now, so something to look into. That's the heater fan, which you can hear it kicking in. That's for the auxiliary fog lights, and it also has a aftermarket electric cooling fan for the engine, which is right there. That's how you operate that. But it's awfully cold out today, so let's get it in gear. Take it for a little spin. Feel like we're on an expedition of sorts. The snow is actually quite deep. So if you're wondering how it's a snowcat today. this about 20 miles an hour right now. I don't want to go too fast down these country roads because I don't want to be a snowcat in a ditch. I bet this is the first Bring a Trailer where somebody's taken a classic car out on winter stormy road conditions, but today's the day. It's a very easy and very pleasant car to drive. I am 6'2" and I've got tons of headroom in here. It's a nice thing about the 2+2 series that you have the same looks, they're very similar looks to the regular coupe, but you have a little bit of extra headspace. I guess that's so if you're English, you could wear your bowler hat as you drive around in your XKE. The car has actually been extremely reliable for me. I've not really had to do much other than, you know, your basic oil changes and things like that. The couple minor things which I haven't gotten around to fixing. I did, like I said, the fuel gauge. I replaced the gauge itself. I replaced the in-tank sender unit. And for some reason, I'm still not getting a reading. So I don't know if I should probably just buckle down and try and figure out if it's a grounding issue or something, but there's been other priorities lately, so as of today that's where it sits, but you shouldn't need a sender unit or a fuel gauge. It's probably just chasing down some kind of minor ground or something like that. We've driven this car up and down the highway throughout summer, and it's just been it's been an excellent vehicle. So I feel confident selling it to somebody that, you know, we're selling it, like I said, as a driver quality vehicle. You know, being the second owner, I got lots of paperwork and lots of manuals and all sorts of stuff with it. So I'm fairly confident that the next person can take it the rest of the way, or you can just drive it, just like I have been. You know, it's provided 5 or 6 years worth of fun driving experience for us, and it will for you too. Go. So horn, it's got little air horns in there. Okay, and we're home. Let's get out. Oh yeah, I guess I should show you, door panels are all good. I do have new weather stripping for it. There's actually a number of new parts that come with the vehicle. And the temperature today is, I believe, -20 with the wind chill. So we just went for a little drive. There she is. So yeah, other than a few minor little things that a person could probably take care of, it is a good driving, reliable vehicle. The engine sounds really nice. It shifts through the gears well. The fellow had replaced the transmission with a rebuilt unit, the factory correct rebuilt unit, but a rebuilt unit. But if you do want the numbers matching transmission, I have it in the garage. It came with the car, and I will show you that in just one sec. I'm going to get this pulled back inside here, and I'll show you the other bits and pieces I have that go along with the car. Okay, this, which I've had kind of stored in my garage here, is the factory automatic transmission for the car. That is the numbers matching transmission for this vehicle, and this came with it. Apparently it actually works fine. They replaced it because it had a leak. He took it into a transmission shop to get it resealed, and the guy said, well, I already have one that's rebuilt here, so why don't we just put that in? And so they did. So that's why it has a different transmission. But there you go, there's a good automatic transmission there that comes with the vehicle. There's also a ton of paperwork and manuals. We've got the factory shop manuals here. I did get this one with the car, and that is the fellow's name who I got the car from. It says it's for the 3.8 E-Type. However, that's the one that came with the vehicle, and then we've also got that manual. Both of those are factory, and then there's a couple of reprints here, the supplement manuals, which these are factory supplementary manuals. The Haynes guide, which there's 2 of. the E-Type workshop manual, some books and magazines, even a road and track with, I think that's an opalescent silver blue car right on the cover there, 1961. My Heritage Trust certificate saying it is, in fact, opalescent silver blue with dark blue. Nothing's changed. And originally distributed through Jaguar of Eastern Canada, ended up in British Columbia, and that's where it was sold. And this is all receipts and information about the car's work that was done. This is the previous owner's documentation on that. So there's just a pile of receipts and other stuff that go along with the vehicle as well. Okay, I've got the car up in the air. There's a little bit of a dent. That's probably for me on the bottom balance there, but not noticeable when it's down on the ground. But anyway, bumpers, the spears were re-chromed. There is, let's see if I can back up a little bit here, some seeping coming from the top. I think it might be the oil pressure gauge. I'm not 100% sure, but it does, I don't want to say it's British and that's why, but there is some small oil leaks that the car has. The fellow I got the car from had some work done to the floors, some new metal put in, and he told me that he was nervous about it rusting again, and so he actually had them fiberglass over top. And so it looks, you can see the ribs where it's supposed to be, and then they've put fiberglass over top of that. Now, when I get a magnet here, and I go to the floor, like it does stick, there's metal in there, but that wasn't me that did that. That was the previous owner, and that's how they decided to fix it. So no holes or anything like that. But anywhere he was worried that water might get in, they basically smeared fiberglass. Looks like there's been a patch on the exhaust right there. I'll slide this down. Otherwise, the mufflers and everything look all right. Frame rails are solid. Let's see if I can get a flashlight on in here. There we go, that's better. Okay, so yeah, you can see where there's been some fiberglass happening there. But again, the magnet is sticking, so there's metal in there. Just want to be clear that there has been some patching of sorts of the floorboards. The frame is nice. I guess a couple little scuffs there, probably from going over speed bumps. You can see a little bit of moisture up here where there's a bit of engine oil that's come down. I'll come back up to the front. So there is the suspension, the brakes, the bottom of the engine, all that. And we'll come back down to the rear end here. So their body work only went so far, it looks like. That pan has, some older work done to it underneath there. Not sure why this is painted white back here, but it is. So the rear end has white paint on it. And a little bit of seeping coming from the drain plug. But no visible rust holes or visible corrosion or anything like that. And somebody went through the car probably about 20 years ago. So that's the undercarriage. Okay, well, there it is. Now, one thing that I'd probably recommend doing on the car at some point, there's a couple adjustments that can be made. One, the driver door is sitting maybe a little too far out. That's probably a fairly easy adjustment. Same thing with the gap in the hood, which I believe there's some shims that you're supposed to adjust up at the front, which should tuck it back. But I never attempted that. I hope I've represented this car honestly. It's been a very good driving vehicle, very clean, very, well kept, but not perfect. I would probably address some of those areas. Like on the undercarriage, there is no rust to my knowledge on the undercarriage. However, the work that was done on it could have been done to a higher quality in terms of the floorboard repair. So although they are solid and I'm not having any issues with any kind of rust or holes or anything like that, if you want it to look a little bit more factory correct, you could have new panels put in. But again, you could also just drive it just the way it is. It's a nice vehicle. It's a cool vehicle. My kids are surely going to miss it. And it's basically just giving me a little bit of space in the garage because we're low on it right now. So I'll make sure to include any extra parts I have for it, like the rubber seals and so forth will go along with the car as well as the transmission. And yeah. Oh, I guess while we're out here, I'm going to open up the trunk lid and I'm just going to show you the trunk well area. If you've not owned an E-Type, there's actually a little release handle right here. That's how you open the trunk. The back seat flips forward and it gives you a whole lot of extra space back here. Actually, a ton of cargo room. And once that is moved forward, you can actually access this little panel like a secret pirate treasure chest is underneath here waiting for us. So there we have the original jack bag, the original knockoff hammer, the Thor hammer for the knockoffs. I don't have the full toolkit for it, unfortunately. It did not come with the car when I got it. I imagine the gentleman I got it from misplaced it at some point. He couldn't find it. I think they might have relined or had the tank redone at some point, so it got painted yellow, but no leaks or anything like that. And then we got the spare in the back with an extra hammer. You can kind of see the floor down there. It's all painted silver, but it's very solid and very clean. So we'll get that back in place. And basically this just slides in. You clip the front in right there and you push it down. And there you go. You have to have really skinny little fingers to open this latch because when it pops up, you have to stick your hand under here and push in to release it right on that. You can see the wear mark on there from people doing that over the years. But it still works just great. So an absolutely lovely car, a good driver quality classic, and one that is currently registered and insured in the province of Alberta where I am. Now where I am, we don't issue titles per se, but our registration acts as a title. So in Bring a Trailer, they oftentimes will say car has no title because they don't issue them, but it actually does. The registration here is like our title. So it does have all the proper paperwork and you'll have no issue getting this car registered or insured anywhere in the world. It is in my name and it's all ready to go. It's all legal. Anyway, it should treat you well. It's treated me well these past few years. If you have any further questions or other questions, you can contact me through Bring a Trailer. For those of you watching my YouTube channel wondering what the heck I'm up to, and some of you are going to be very surprised that I'm even selling this car. It's just time to thin stuff out a bit. You can see I've got stuff all over the place here, and we ended up finding a very special vehicle which is coming home in February, so very soon when I'm filming this video. So it had to go. One of them had to go. So there it is, guys. I hope it'll find a new home. I hope that it'll find a happy new home. And again, thank you very much for watching today's video. We'll see you guys all very soon. And as always, bye for now.